So yeah, man, appreciate you having me up on here or having us up on here.
Yeah, I'm stoked we finally got to do this because I know, and we'll talk about it like when we fully start the episode. But we almost did this basically like last year when the band kind of was first forming, and then you guys kind of went through that like
Yeah,
renaming and
yeah,
everything. So I'm stoked we finally got to get something on the schedule.
for sure. It seems like you got a busy schedule with this. So
Yeah, it can be a little hectic sometimes on top of
I'm sure,
working normal job stuff. So,
right?
but I make it work.
That's what's up, man.
Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, no,
All
man, we
right,
can just do
cool.
whatever. I follow you.
All right, hell yeah. Well, my only question for you is, do you have an unopened beer that you'd like to participate in the open crack with?
Yeah, totally. I got two of them right here,
Sick.
so I got it.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll count us down. We'll crack these. I'll do the intro and then bring you in, and we'll just have a good time.
All right, brother, let's do it.
Hell yeah. In three, two, one.
Oh,
Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. Very stoked to kind of get this one on the schedule and finally have this one happen. Sitting down with CJ from the band Five Steps Back. How you doing?
I'm great, brother. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing great. It's Sunday. It's a 3-day weekend. I'm off tomorrow, having some beers, talking some bands. What could possibly be better?
That's right, man. Have a couple extra tonight, then.
Well,
You guys
I got
getting?
four on the docket right now, so
Oh,
we'll be
okay.
we'll
I
be
got
set for a
two.
while.
I haven't drank in a long time, so I might be a little buzz off this one here. I got a Golden Road mango cart.
Nice.
My drummer Woody, he got me onto these. I think he brought these here months ago, and it's I've had like one or two in the fridge.
Hell
So
yeah.
shout out Woody.
uh, for kind of jumping right into things. Like I kind of said before we fully got started. This is something that I'm stoked we finally got on the schedule after about a year now. Probably a little bit less than a year, but we'll kind of get into all that here in a second. For people that aren't aware of Five Steps Back, y'all are like a pop punk hardcore band based out of Baltimore. Been around a little less than a year with this lineup. Um, but I feel like you guys have been pretty busy in the year that you've had so far. Um,
Yeah.
Knocking stuff down off the to do list. Um, can you before we fully get into everything? Obviously, I said you're CJ. What do you do in Five Steps Back?
So I sing, if you want to call it that, yelling, singing, fronting the band. That's what I do.
Hell yeah! And then I know we are missing a few members tonight. Who are they and what do they do in Five Steps Back?
All right, we got Wes. That's the dad of the band. He plays guitar. Um, we got Nick. He plays guitar, and they both just shred. And then we got Brian. He plays bass. He also shreds on guitar. This is his first band. He's actually like rocking the bass, and he kills it. And then we got Woody, who plays drums.
Hell yeah. And this is where I normally say, for the members that can't be with us tonight, this is where we pour one out in their honor. By pour one out, I just mean we have a drink in their honor because we don't waste alcohol on this podcast.
Yeah, yeah,
So
we
this
don't
is
do
to the
that.
four of them.
Yup.
Uh, but kind of take me back, like I said, uh, Five Steps Back has been kind of active in this lineup for like the last year at least. So take me back to those early days because I know for people that might not be aware, you and Woody were once in handguns. You guys have, at least I know for you, you've kind of been away from music for quite a while, and now this is kind of your step back in with Five Steps Back. Like, how did the five of you come together to become this new project?
Yeah, so it goes back a long way. As far as in handguns, I would jam with Wes. I knew Wes from shows a long time ago. And over the last couple years, I knew they were in a band. It was him, Wes, a guy named Josh, Johnny, and some other people. They were in a band, and they wrote some of these songs, and then they recorded them. Basically, Josh and Wes. and then it kind of just fizzled out, and it was just Josh and Wes, and I was like, man, it's been a while since I've done anything musically, and I seen that they were doing something. So, yo, let me hop in, let me get back into it. And like, yeah, sure, come out. So they already had a couple of songs on that EP, Bad Taste. They had them songs kind of demoed out and written. And then I just came in and wrote some lyrics and went to the studio and tried to see what it would sound like with me on it. And we put that out. And then we're like, oh crap, let's get it really flowing. Let's find people. I'm like, well, I can call my buddy Woody. He played with me in Handguns. We toured the world together and shit. And I know he'd be down. And he was like, all right. So I called Woody. Woody lives in Philly, so it's about an hour and a half from Baltimore. And so Woody drives down every Sunday, and that's how he got in it. And then yeah, then we got Brian, and then since Josh left, we picked up Nick, and we just clicked all together. So we just been kind of rocking out.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's kind of how I kind of when Josh left, it was just me and Wes, and I was like, dude, I got these guys I can bring in. So it's like picking a football team. Draft day, I'm drafting all these guys. Like, hey, you guys want to play? So, but everyone vibes together. Everybody's on the same page. We all have full-time jobs. We just want to play music, and whatever comes out of it comes out of it. And so that's what we've been doing. That's
Uh,
how we got
yeah,
the lineup.
because I mean the songs are sick, and I remember I think at the time it was still the old band name because I don't remember what song they had like just dropped. It might have been Bad Taste. I
Brainwaves.
can't. Yeah, back when they were Brainwaves, and I
We
had hit
dropped.
them
We
up.
dropped. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're
We
good.
dropped. We dropped a song called Rust. First, it was called Five Steps Back, and we were still called Brainwaves. I don't know if that's the one you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
Okay, so we dropped that song, and it was called Five Steps Back. And then when Josh left, we kind of felt that we needed to change the name since all the members that were in that band aren't kind of in the band anymore. But these recordings that we did, it was all Josh and Wes, so he had no relationship to the other guys at all.
hmm.
Um, so that's kind of so yeah. We dropped Five Steps Back, and when Josh left, we were like, let's change the name up, and we changed it to Five Steps Back. And then when we dropped the EP, we switched that name out to Rust instead of what I mean. We just
Yep.
kind of traded names. Yeah,
I mean, it works out to kind of do that, and then I like obviously in handguns, you played bass and kind of did some vocals. Did you
yeah.
have you had you been in a band before where you did strictly vocals?
No, not at all. This was like my first time doing anything vocally besides like handguns doing backups and stuff. Um, Before that, I've always played bass and guitar and stuff, and I would write a lot of the music. And then
Hmm.
my first real band was with Taylor Eby, the old singer of Handguns. We had pop punk bands. That's how we met Handguns. And we'd always play shows together. But I've always pretty much just played guitar and bass and just kind of left that vocal stuff to everybody else. I would come up with the melodies and stuff, a lot of them. And um, when this position came about, I was like, I would really like to try to do something different. Um, so that's why I try to do vocals, and it's been fun. It's been a whole another journey, really. So it's been cool.
Did you feel like there was like any like hurdles that you had to like overcome with like not being able to like hide behind your bass anymore? Because like I know I've had
Oh,
friends
dude.
where they kind of went from like a four piece to a five piece, and then they were like, okay, you're not going to play guitar anymore. You're going to just sing. And I know my friend was like, I don't know what the fuck to do, like
Oh
initially,
yeah,
like and all that stuff.
yeah, dude. It's weird because I know when I have a bass in front of me, feel like I have decent stage presence, spin around, jumping and shit. Like I couldn't do that now. My knees would probably fall out. But yeah, it was weird. The first couple shows we played, they were in like these really small, tiny little rooms. So it was cool to get the cobwebs off, but it was also like I had nowhere to move anyway. So I kind of
Hmm.
just stood with a mic stand. And then as we're playing more shows and stuff, I'm kind of feeling my vibe, and what to do with my hands and shit like that. Yeah. But
Well,
so
and the
there's
nice
definitely
thing is,
hurdles.
yeah, definitely hurdles. But the nice thing is too with like with the style that you guys are doing, it's so easy to just like kind of find that rhythm and kind of get into it. And I feel like that kind of like helps guide you through because like I watched some of the Instagram videos that you guys have out from a few of your shows, and like your pacing is like perfect for like the style that you guys are doing, and like it works. So
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
you overcame it pretty quick. I feel like.
Thanks. Yeah, man. It's because as we're a new band, with handguns, I was used to playing bigger shows and a lot more kids knowing our lyrics and everybody, jumping off stage and shit. So this one's more like everyone don't know who we are, so they're just, just standing there kind of just like watching us. So it's a different vibe. So I'm trying to adapt to that. And yeah, just the New Jersey show, that's when I felt our last show we did, I think it was in November or right before Christmas. We played with a band called Don't Bite Your Tongue, and who else played that? Some other bands. I feel bad, I can't remember now. But Handguns played that too. And that was the first show where I felt good. There was actually kids like rocking out and
Yeah,
some people singing lyrics and stuff. So it was dope. It made me feel more in the element.
yeah. I mean, you guys are only not even a full year since the EP came out, so I'm sure it's just gonna keep growing from here as to like more and more people singing. Because like the EP, like we kind of mentioned, Bad Taste came out June of last year, so not
Yeah,
even a full year out. It's a solid EP. I feel like for Five Steps Back's like freshman EP, it's good. It's gritty. It takes me back. It has a like for me when I listen to it a lot of like nostalgic feels from like the first times that I listened to branching away from pop punk and getting into that like heavier, more melodic stuff. It really takes me back
right.
into
Yeah.
that like that era, and I really loved listening through this.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's that's kind of where I'm at. You got to a point, I think I left handguns when I was 26, and it was like, I was never a pop punk kid. I grew up, listening to like Fat Records bands, like NoFX, No Use for Name, Lagwagon was like my favorite band that really got me into all this. Um, so I was more on that side, but now that I got the new group of guys and we've been rocking. We've really been putting out stuff that I've been wanting to play for a really long time. That fast pace kind of. If you check out our new single "Under My Rope," that's kind of
Yep.
like an introduction of what we got going on. We got some songs that are harder than that. We have some songs that are kind of just faster, but we're kind of stepping in that direction. You know what I mean? So I think that's what everyone's kind of vibing. So it's nice. It's fun.
Right. Because really on the first EP, like you said, it was mainly I'm gonna butcher names already, but it was mainly I think you said like Wes and
Yeah, Josh.
I can't and Josh. So like
Yeah.
really with End of My Rope, is that the first time we're kind of seeing like the full
Oh
five of
yeah,
you kind of
that is
have your
yeah,
hands on everything?
exactly. That's the first song of everyone chipping in and just all of our minds together writing shit. Yeah,
Hell yeah, yeah. I'm like End of My Rope sounds sick. I'm really stoked to see what the rest of like what's coming next at with like all five of you touching it, and like kind of building it together. Obviously, you know, Wes and Josh put something great together, and you guys came in and fleshed it out. But to see the band come together and put the next record out, like that's always my favorite step. Going from like that
right.
freshman to that sophomore EP or LP, it's always like a nice step to see in a band's life.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's shout out to Josh for kind of him and Wes starting it. You know what I mean? And now it's kind of ballooned into this new thing. So, but again, he just had a baby, so he's got his life going on right now. So, and I'm sure he's going to be doing more stuff musically too. So, shout out to him. But yeah, everybody, like I said, everyone in this band now is like so musical. Like Wes rips. I've never played in a band where like everyone knows how to play their shit. You know what I mean? So it's cool. It's different. And you're talking about hurdles now. That the biggest hurdle to me is I'm a simple guy. Like my vocabulary isn't very big. So like writing lyrics, and I'm so hard to like be able to write down like what my feelings are, or like I've never been that kind of person, you know what I mean? So like trying to write and do shit now, I'm like, yeah, I don't want it to be cheesy at the same time,
Right.
but I want it to have a good flow and it's easy for someone to pick up and understand what I'm saying instead of it being like this mathematical problem, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. I mean, you're off to a good start so far, and I also feel
Thank
like
you.
with like hardcore and like punk and stuff, you don't need to be too too much where you need like a thesaurus to try and figure out what people are saying. Like
Right,
I
yeah.
always think back to like Backtrack and like how some of their albums were like it's just like on the point and on the nose and like it just the beats are there to like kind of get you through and like it works out perfectly. And like I think you're on a good point, but I really love too how you said that like this is your first band where you feel like everyone's kind of on point musically and just like killing it because that's been something that's I've noticed with a lot of bands lately is like you start off with your like teens and all these bands and stuff, but by the time you get to like our age and you're playing music with people now, like people are actually if they're starting a band at this point in their life, they actually give a shit about what they're doing.
Yeah.
So like those bands are like shredding so fucking hard compared to
Oh,
like
yeah.
how they would have like 10 years ago, where it would have been like, ah man, I could have went to this. I went to this party last night. I should have practiced. I didn't really do this. I didn't really give a fuck. Like now everyone
Yeah.
like actually cares.
Yeah, and these guys are all gearheads, so like they got like all these crazy pedals and equipment and shit, and I'm just like, even me like playing guitar and bass and shit growing up, I played bass like how everyone probably plays bass. It took me until like I don't know, I joined Hang-On's permanently in 2012, and we went and recorded with Kyle Black, and he was a bassist, and I mean he showed me really how to play a bass like how it's supposed to be played, and ever since then it's like I'm like a whole new person. Then I really took it serious, and just the way you play bass, I guess. So, um, yeah, it's nice that everyone knows what they're doing.
Yeah. And I know, we're jumping around, but End of My Rope came out back in like mid January. We're recording right now, kind of mid February. This will be out in April. Like, I know you said that you guys have a few things in the works. Like, are you guys? What's kind of like the release plan coming up for 2025? Are you guys dropping like another EP, trying to do a full length, or what are you guys
Yeah, I
thinking?
mean, we talk about it all the time. I think right now we're talking about just doing a couple like just doing a bunch of different singles and just having stuff pumping out since we're new, and we're just trying
Yeah.
to get on some kind of map. So we're just trying to, we do something like we went when we did End of My Rope. We recorded that with Mike Bridget at the Monster House, and he's in Southern Maryland, and we did two singles with him. The next one, I think we're getting that mastered now, and then once that comes out, we'll probably pick a day and just kind of shoot it out. There's really no plan. We talked about doing another EP before we do a full length. Obviously, we'd like to get another EP out and see how that does, and see um, if it's worth putting like a full length out. You know what I mean? Dropping the money and really put it out. You know what I mean? I think it's different nowadays. Um, unless you're like a giant band, you know what I mean? Where kids are like really excited for something you're about to drop. Now, I just think we're just trying to get some shit out as much as we can.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean that makes total sense. Especially like being a fresh band, like get as much content out there as possible. Get these ears on you guys and get these listeners going. So I mean that totally makes sense. Like I was stoked to see what the next singles look like, and I mean when you guys finally decide to do like the next EP or LP, I'm stoked to see what another collection of songs is going to look like for
Thanks,
that
man.
as well. Because I mean this has been sick so far to listen to, and like I said, it's been taking me back to this like nostalgia era. So I'm really stoked to kind of see where you guys kind of take it from here because there's there's heavy hitters in your band, and it shines through. So I mean, you have this momentum, and I'm stoked.
Thanks, man. Yeah, the next couple things we're gonna be dropping is definitely gonna be heavy hitting. In our way. I like how you brought up Backtrack because that's another one of my favorite hardcore bands too. Growing up in Baltimore, Trap Under Ice is king. Um,
Yeah.
Between them and like Comeback Kid, if I had to pick a band to be like, it's Comeback Kid. They are the most perfect band. Growing up, that was like my mixture of hardcore and punk.
Hmm.
Uh, they were so melodic, and I'm a big fan of heavy melodic shit. And just everything about that band to me is sick. The riffs, Andrew's vocals, just I don't know. We Hang on, we did a tour with them. I gotta look at the flyer. It was 4 years strong, comeback kid, expire, and a band called Heart to Heart.
Oh yeah.
Um, we did 6 weeks with them, and every night, dude, I was watching Comeback Kid and 4 Year every night. They were just so sick. But that's kind of the vibe we're going, that we got going, like the Comeback Kid vibe.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking sick. Yeah, Comeback Kids is amazing, man. Their latest that record that they put out that long not that long ago was fucking phenomenal. As like kind of
Yeah, I
like
look like a
a
fanboy
showcase
right
back.
now. I look like a fanboy right now too, but I got one of their hoodies on. So
Totally fine, dude. Uh,
yeah,
like that like era too, because like that was kind of when I was getting into stuff was Backtrack, Expire, Rotting Out,
yeah,
early Such Gold when it was more pop punk and like kind of easycore ish. Like that was my gateway into hardcore as well. And like I still have like this nostalgic feeling anytime I can put on one of their records and just kind of like sit back and just vibe. Like it's always a good day.
yeah. I think I really got into hardcore in like '05, '06, and it was like Brace War, Swamp Thing from Virginia. Uh, you had Ruiner from Baltimore, Trap Under Ice, Stout. Um, my one buddy was in the hardcore. Taylor, he actually got me into it, and when I found that, I was like, dude, this is it right here. This is all. I grew up an angry kid. Have no idea why I had the best life. You know what I mean? But I'm like, yeah, this is where I feel like I fit in most anywhere else. Um, went to United Blood in '07, and that really changed my life there too. So that's what really got the ball rolling for me in this direction.
And then is the scene kind of pretty still alive and like as a hardcore wise out in the Baltimore area?
Oh, dude, hardcore is more alive than it ever has been here. You got bands like End It. Oh shit, you got bands like End It right now that are killing it. Um, Jive Bomb, they're killing it. There's so many other bands, but it's also different because back then when we were, in bands, you could be able to just not have any music up on your MySpace and you're getting hit up. Yeah, we want to play a show. You want to play a show? I mean, we're playing shows like every night of the week. Now it's like so hard to get like to hit people up and say, hey, here's a, trying to. So like we've been booking our own shows and just having bands come in on it, but it's just I don't know. Nowadays it's hard around these scenes, but it's all a click thing, but
Yeah,
that's why we're trying to get shit out there. But yeah, the hardcore scene around here is huge, so thriving.
nice. Yeah, I definitely
Mhm.
understand the click thing. Like that's the difficult thing about too, like taking that step away from music, whether you were still playing shows or not going to shows or any of that. Like trying to find your way back in because there was a time period where I stopped booking shows. I stopped really going to local shows, and I was like, okay, it's been like I'm ready to kind of go back to shows again. And like trying to find that like someone that you kind of probably still knew that like kind of get you in the door so you didn't seem like who the fuck's this guy just coming to shows now like just because
Yeah, yeah,
everything is so like tight knit.
yeah. It's cool because like I'll go to like shows now. Like so, it's been after Handguns, dude. I didn't even want to go to a show. You know what I mean? Like we're gone. I don't know, 10 months touring, 10 months out of the year straight, and it's like when I get home, the last thing I want to do is go to a show. You know what I mean? But we would, but um. And after that, dude, I left Handguns, I just got a full time job at doing HVAC, and I just doing that, dude. I had no time to really do anything, and then I didn't even listen to music for a while, dude. I would drive to work with nothing, just my thoughts. I wouldn't really uh, do anything musically. I was just kind of burnt out and bummed out. Um, me and a couple of other guys from Handguns when we all quit. We were supposed to you know, put our own thing out. There was some stuff going on. That's why we all left. But um, we were going to put our own stuff out, but it never happened. So I just kind of lost sight of it. And I was like, man, fuck it. I got to get my life together. I was drinking a lot. I was smoking a lot and became this bum. And then I just had to get my life right. You know what I mean? I had to take I had to step out. I had to take 5 steps back out
Yeah,
and kind of get my life going before I can got back into it. But I'm back into it now. So, but yeah, like you said, I know like my one best friend Gons, he drums for and He used to be in me and Taylor's whole band back in the day. So like when I go to shows now, I still see people I know. It's just
Hmm.
oh shit, like you're still alive? Like oh shit, you know what I mean? But there is a lot of new kids that have just so, which is great.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's keeping the scene alive. But yeah, it's definitely different now. But it's cool.
yeah,
It's cool.
yeah. No, it's good.
Sorry, I get talking and
No,
I get
dude.
talking. I just keep on going. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're totally fine, dude. Uh, but yeah, like
Hmm.
because like the thing that with me too, like I went back into my local scene, kind of got in, uh, like reacquainted with a lot of people, and then like I moved to a different town, so like it was a whole nother like trying to get a foot back in the scene here in Minneapolis now, and it's just like okay, I haven't tried as hard to get into it mainly because I found like a niche with like the punk dudes, and I'm like okay, I'm in this circle, I'm calling it good. Uh, because I feel
Right.
old at any other show now. If I don't go to like their shows, because their shows I'm like usually like the youngest
Yeah.
person, but if I go to like any other local shows, I'm like I feel like the oldest person. I don't do house shows anymore because it's just a whole fucking weird vibe. But like
Yeah.
getting that
How
foot back
how
in the
old are
door.
how old are you now?
I'm 32.
Okay. Yeah, I just turned 34 in November, so
Okay, yeah.
no. Yeah, I'm 34. Shit. See, I forgot. Um, you're in Minneapolis. I'm trying to think the last time I went there. I think is there a venue called the Garage or something there?
Yeah, yeah. I think they actually just closed, but yeah, there
Oh,
is.
damn. Yeah, that place is pretty cool. We came through there with a couple different lineups. Um, trying to think where else. I think there's another venue. It's kind of like looks like a warehouse, maybe.
Uh,
It's been a long time. It's been a
yeah.
long time.
I know there's
So,
been a few change ups in venues. I've only been here for 5 years because I'm originally
okay,
from
where
like
you?
Iowa, so
Iowa. Yeah, yeah,
and I don't remember if Handguns ever played through Iowa. If you did, you
we
might have done Des Moines, not Iowa City.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the last time we played there was on Warped Tour 2000. Maybe not. We did like all. It was like during Warped Tour days, and we did a couple off show days, and we played in Iowa, and we played with Attila and Stick to Your Guns, and it was like it was a couple different off show. It was real weird, but Stick to Your Gun guys are sick.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I saw them. I think I've only seen them once, but it was with that co-headline tour that they did with say no, not say James. The story so far, like
Yeah,
2014 or something like that.
that's dope. Yeah, they're a great band too, man.
Um, I know we've kind of jumped around between like Five Steps Back and Bad Taste and End of My Rope, but is there anything like I'm missing that we haven't like mentioned um, about like either the band or the music so far?
No, I mean the music. I feel like now the EP is sick. If anyone hasn't listened to it, you should go check it out. Definitely a good introduction to where we're heading. Um, but the new stuff is actually going to be even better. If it's not getting better, then what are you doing, really? Um,
Right.
but no, I don't think so. I know we've been jumping around, but I think you pretty much covered it. We got that single. We got this other single coming out. Again, we're still working full time and pretty much doing things when we can. If we're not practicing, I'm over at Nick's house. It's nice because Nick has his own studio set up and it sounds awesome. So when I have demos I want to do, he'll I'll wake up one morning and I got like 3 songs that he's done tracked and demoed out. Like, yeah, what do you guys think of these? And we're like, sick. And then I was still on the way to work, write some shit, and then I'm like, yo, I'm coming to your house to demo vocals on it. And I was like, all right, let's go. So it's cool. Everyone's got um they write their we write songs together, but we also write songs separately, and then everyone hears it, and then everyone does their little ditty on it.
Mm.
But it's cool because it's all kind of in the same realm, you know what I mean? So, um, now just being on the lookout for that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I know. Like I said, I'm stoked. I know. Also, like this episode comes out a little bit after it, but your guys' like I think first show of 2025 is coming up here pretty soon in March. Um,
Yeah,
you know, obviously we'll miss it a little bit with this episode, but if people are trying to see you, still in 2025, I know we're still kind of early in the year, but like, do you guys so far have a decent amount of shows planned?
hell no, man. I mean, again, we're trying. Uh, so we've been, like I said, we hit everybody and their mothers up. for shows and stuff. But we also don't want to sound like, we're like, yo, please put us on a show. Um, so we're like, fuck it, we'll just keep writing, put shit out, and see what happens. So right now we just got that show. Um, I'll probably book another show myself, and we'll go from there. But right now we're just gonna just keep writing as much as we can. And when things pop up, we'll announce it.
Well, we'll talk links a little bit later in the episode, so everyone keep your eyes peeled for that,
Yeah,
and be ready for possible upcoming shows. Uh, you know, as we start to transition, like I've said, everyone go listen to Bad Taste and End of My Rope. Um, but this is obviously Beers with Bands. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes, 'cause I'll definitely do that for you. But it's a fine Sunday afternoon. We both got some
that's right.
booze in front of us.
Hmm.
What are you drinking on this fine Sunday?
So I got to, like I said, I got the mango cart. That's what I'm sipping on right now. It's like an IPA. Um, I'm trying to see how much shit it's got up in here. So it's 4%. It's 4%. It's very definitely tastes like a mango, and it's got the hint of a IPA, stuff. And then the king of all beers for me right now, since I don't really drink, is the Michelob Ultra.
Yeah,
Uh, for a while, dude, I went through like an IPA phase. Like everywhere I'd go, like tour wise and stuff, I'd be like, just give me the best local IPA, because I could never just look at something and say, I guess I'll take one of these. I just say, just give me your best IPA, and then I got hooked on them for a while. But I don't know, I'm not a big drinker anymore, so the Michelob Ultras go down pretty well.
yeah, yeah. They sneakingly very very well. Um,
Yeah.
normally for
What do you got?
these episodes, I would have like hams or PBRs, but I actually picked up these. It's a newer beer. I don't know if you've seen it around, Garage Beer.
Garage beer? I've never.
I think it doesn't say it on here, but I'm pretty sure this is Richard Rollins from Fast and Loud, like Gas
No,
Smoking
well,
Garage. I think this is his beer. It's okay. It's 4%, 95 calories, just decent light beer. But
yeah,
figured
yeah,
I'd get
nice.
something different.
Oh yeah. Have you ever had any heavy seas?
Heavy
Um,
Seas? No.
yeah, never seen it. They're
Uh,
IPAs. They're from Maryland, like Baltimore area, and they'll put you on your ass. They'll put you on their ass. It's really good. So look out for that stuff. That's pretty good.
okay.
Um, and then Happy Dads. You ever have Happy Dads and seltzers?
I've had it. Yeah, I've had a few of those. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I like them if I'm down like the beach. Me and my wife and our family, we go down to South Carolina every year for sick little beach city we go to and resort, I guess. But that's all I drink down there. It's nice and refreshing.
Yeah, yeah, those go down very smooth. I know I have some friends that like they've kind of switched over to just drinking those lately.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, yeah, I also don't drink too much. Surprisingly, I know I run a podcast where we talk about bands with over beers, but I really only just drink during these episodes now. So
Yeah.
it keeps me in a good line. If I do 2 episodes a week, that's at least like 2 to 4 beers that I might have. Then
Yeah.
I'm golden.
I got tired of it, dude. I got tired of the hangovers and shit. That was the worst. And me and my wife, we got married, and then we had our son. He's 4 now. I don't know if you can hear him in the background yelling. He's out there playing, running around. But he's up every morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and he's ready to go. So if you are hungover in any way, you're gonna be in trouble. So since I had him, man, it's kind of the drinking's kind of been kaput for me.
Yeah. Uh, well, that's the beer segment for this episode, the drink segment. Now we're going to kind of get into the later half of these episodes, which are always kind of my favorite part of the episodes. So we're trying to talk about some fun stories from your time in music, whether they're shows, tours, time recording. As I normally say, they could be anything horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between. The way I like to think about
No,
it is the stories you always reminisce about with your friends. Those are usually the best stories that everyone loves to hear.
yeah.
If you need
Um,
prompts as well, I can give you prompts.
yeah. Give me some prompts.
Uh,
There's there's just so many things that I could say. A lot of stuff I'm not going to say, but
that's totally fair. Uh,
yeah.
uh, well, since I know you've been around the country quite a bit, in the world, what's What are some of the sketchiest spots you guys have ever played, or you've ever played? I mean,
Oh man, sketchiest. We've been through some sketchiest. Over in Europe, we played a. Hold on. Yeah, Bob. It's dinner time. Okay, I'll be out in a bit. My son told me it's dinner time. Um, he was whispering in the door, in the crack of the door. The sketchiest place. I can't really think off the top of my head, but the sketchiest thing that's happened. I think it was a Warped Tour in Austria somewhere, and we played the show the next day, and this guy's like, "Hey, we got a mansion for you guys to stay in. We got a ride for you guys." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "All right, cool. We're getting hooked up." Oh, we were playing Prague, and it's kind of sketchy because you don't know where you're at. You know what I mean? I'm from Baltimore, like everywhere down there is sketchy. So like when I go other places, I'm like, "Oh, this ain't that bad." You know what I mean? Um, So we get done playing the show, and the guy's like, "Yeah, you're gonna ride with this girl here, and she's gonna take you to wherever you guys are staying." And there's this girl, and she's like, "Oh yeah, don't speak English." And I'm like, "All right, cool, whatever." So we get in the van, and she's pointing our driver where we gotta go, and we show up to this house, and it's a big house, but we go in there, and we walk in the door, and it's like her grandma's there and her moo and like her dad and her mom and her kid, her brother and her sister, and they're all like just going off in whatever language they speak, and we have no idea what's going on. I'm like, yeah, what the hell? We were told we had like a mansion to ourselves, like blah 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 blah, and then they're arguing. Her dad is pissed. You know what I mean? Like he's got these like 8 random American dudes just like sleeping bags. It was late as shit, so we all come in like we were all sleeping in the van, come in with our sleeping bags and our bags and shit, and we're all looking at each other like, what the fuck's going on? And and then she turned around, smiled, like, okay, up here. And we're like, oh shit. So we went up there and we were all spread out in her room, like sleeping and shit. That was kind of weird. Not really sketchy, but weird. I'm trying to think where else. It'll come to me later, probably.
yeah. I mean, to get into just like, yeah, that whole scenario of being in a different country and them just being like, we're gonna take you to where you're gonna be staying tonight. Don't worry. Like,
Yeah.
I would have been like, whoa, red flag on the play. Let's figure this out first. But like,
Yeah. Oh,
that's fucking crazy.
another part. I'm sorry. So we played Warped Tour in Germany or something, just close to there. And this guy's like, yeah, I got a loft you guys can stay in. We're like, all right, cool. And I don't know, man. It was like dark, and I'm used to watching like World War II movies and shit. So now I'm chilling in this like little town. I feel like a tank's gonna roll around the corner any minute. It's just that vibe, you know what I mean? So we go. There's a bar downstairs, and it was pretty freaky, but it was cool. And upstairs, where we were staying in the loft, it was like a tattoo shop or something, but it had a room that had bunk beds that had like 8 bunks on it. We're like, all right, tight. So we went down in the bar, we got all tore up and shit all night, and then we go up and we're fucking around, just being drunk assholes. And then we wake up in the middle of the morning to some chick just shouting at us, beating us with brooms and shit, like telling us to get the fuck out of there. What are we doing and shit? We're like, we were told we could stay here, dude. We got fucked every time we try to sleep somewhere, but that was pretty sketchy. And then the guy all tattooed up head to toe, big dudes coming in like, oh, no. And when they speak their language and you don't know what the hell they're
Oh
saying,
yeah.
it's kind of like, oh shit, dude, we got to bounce. So yeah, it's pretty funny.
So I guess counter side to that, what has been like what were some of like what has been like your favorite show that you've gotten to play? Like one that you're just like, how the fuck are we on this bill?
Um, I mean, okay, so Europe has always been that way for me. I feel like we've always got cool stuff over there. Like the UK is sick. We played it. That's probably one of my favorite places, the UK. If I could live there, I probably would. Um, we played. It's called Slam Dunk Fest. But I'll be out in a minute. Called Slam Dunk Fest, and we were playing the same time that Story So Far was playing. I think like in the middle of their set, and we're like, "Psh, yo, no one's gonna come watch us if Story's playing." You know what I mean? It was like
Yeah.
Story on one stage and like Mano right after them, like on the stage next to them in this one big room, and we were off in like some side room. And I remember we all got ready, we we're sound checking and shit, and there's probably like 4 or 5 kids out there in this room. I mean, it's a decent sized room. We're like, oh fuck, man, no one's coming to watch us. So everyone's like, all right, let's go. We went outside, Kyle and everybody smoking a cigarette, and we were like, all right, well, whatever it is, let's just go rock it. I mean, that was like 5 minutes went by that we were inside, went outside, and came back out. And when we came back out on the stage, the whole room was completely filled, like snap of fingers. It was like, holy shit, what just happened? And we played, and that was everybody was crawling on each other. That was sick. Um, and then the all-time low tour we did in 2015. That was just kind of like a connection thing. You got to be in the crew, right? We
Yeah.
played Warp Tour in. Is it Warp Tour? No, I'm sorry. It was Slam Dunk again, and they had these after parties, and we were. It was me and Woody, drummer of Five Steps Back, and we're all drunk and we're hanging out, and he bumps into this table and knocks his. There was like a bunch of girls and this dude, and he knocks like all these beers over on this dude, and he gets. And it was Jack Bearcat from All Time Low. And I was like, bro, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. I said, my boy, he's drunk. He didn't know. He was like, wait, are you from Baltimore? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I guess he can hear it in my voice. I'm like, yeah. He was like, shit, me too. Like, I didn't know who he was. I'm like, yeah, I know who you are, bro. He's like, oh, what band you in? And I was like, oh, we're Handguns. He was like, oh, shit, where you guys playing? What stage you guys playing on tomorrow? And I told him, he was like, oh, I'm going to come by. I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. And I'm like, he ain't coming to watch us. You know what I mean? He got better shit to do. Sure enough, we were playing. He looked over, and he was sitting there just vibing out. So we talked a little bit that day, and he wanted a shirt, so I gave him a shirt. And then like 2 weeks later, we got an offer to tour them, open up for them and Man Overboard for like 6 weeks. So it was kind of weird how that worked out because Woody dropped a beer on him. You know what I mean? So that was dope. That was kind of those moments like, wow, fuck. And
Yeah.
growing up in Maryland, that all time low, they were the top band in the state, really.
Right.
So that was dope.
That's amazing. From dropping a beer on, like spilling a beer on someone, to have it turn out in like the most, uh, I think best way that best outcome that it could have had.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because they're all rock stars. You know what I'm saying? We're just
Yeah.
the scrub kids that play pop punk. You know what I mean? That probably have like $5 in our pocket, and they're all living with all the. They all have the model girls with them and stuff, and we just dump 5 beers on all their laps.
Uh, from those Warp Tour days, was there anyone that like, because like I never went to Warp Tour, I never got to experience it, but I know like I've kind of watched a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like, was there anyone that you were? I know we've had like there's been the years where like there's kind of like that crazy artist is coming out to be part of it too. But like, is there any artist that you got to watch side stage at Warp Tour that you were just like, how the fuck are like they even on this? Considering it's like such a big time commitment and to do Warp Tour, like that you got to see and you were just like in awe of.
We played one year with Riff Raff, and he played on the same stage we did. And I mean, watching him, he's the man. But
Yeah,
like, it was one of those things like, what the fuck is Riff Raff here playing? You know what I mean? But no, every time, I mean, every band, God, there's, I could tell you, we played Warped Tour Austria, and this is where my life came full circle. Like, you ever heard of Flogging Molly?
yeah.
Okay, so the song "Drunken Lullaby," you know what I mean? It's in the Tony Hawk games. Growing up, listening to that song, and then when I got into punk rock, I was on demand on Comcast watching that video, and the guys like skateboarding and going to the pubs, drinking beers, and we had to leave, and I was like, dude, Dropkick or not Dropkick Murphys, Flogging Molly's about to play. I have to stay here. I'm not going. So we got in the van, packed it up, and my driver was real strict. He's like, guys, we gotta go. We gotta go. I'm like, oh, I left something back here. So I ran back in, and and right when they were about to play, and I was the only one on the stage, watching, and I was like, and they're playing to like, I don't know, thousands of kids. And I'm like, this is like a full circle moment, you know what I mean? And they start playing Drunken Lullaby. I was like, oh my God, this is sick. So that
That's
was
amazing.
badass.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So as we start to wind down here, CJ, has been a great time. Like I said, Bad Taste and End of My Rope has been sick to listen to leading up to this, and like what you guys are doing in Five Steps Back is killer, and I'm really stoked to kind of see where it goes from here. I mean, I can I can ask the normal question that I usually ask to end off these these, but I think I'm gonna add a part two to it, just because Five
Okay.
Steps Back has been so Hasn't been around for too long, so I don't know if you'll have
Right.
a definitive moment at this point. But my normal question to end off these episodes is, from your time in Five Steps Back, what has been your favorite moment that you've experienced so far? And I guess part two is going to be like, what are you most excited for in the future with this band?
All right. Say the first question again.
Okay, from your time in Five Steps Back, what has been
Yeah.
your favorite moment that you've experienced so far?
So the best thing, dude, is one of the biggest reasons I'm back playing music now is because my son is, he's 4, he knows what's going on, he loves music, and now that I got to do all that cool shit before, I'm like, man, he'll never get to see his dad do this cool shit, and I want him to be able to find this avenue as well because it helped me um, with growing up and just me becoming who I am. I'm like, I want to play music so he could see. So I got videos of us playing shows and my son right up front with his little headphones on and he's singing all the words. Um, my wife, he tells my wife when they're driving, put on radio, daddy. That's what he calls, that's what he calls us. So he'll sing the words. You hear him in the back in his car seat just singing. So that's probably the coolest thing. That he's actually getting to see me do something that's cool. So
That's fucking sick.
yeah.
That's amazing. And then part two to the question is like, what are you most excited for the future of this band?
Dude, I'm excited. Again, like I had to step back for a while and get my life in order. And I know Woody did the same thing. Um, he had to get his life in order. He got engaged. He bought a house. Um, Brian, everyone's getting their life together. So now this is like our outlet to blow off steam and just get together and stuff like that. And it actually shows that everyone cares and everyone wants to put out the best stuff. And we have so much fun doing it. And I haven't had this much fun with people playing music before ever. So I'm excited to just keep them vibes going and just seeing what more cool stuff we're gonna be putting out. So we got a lot of good heaters coming up. I can't wait to get them out. We're just gonna strategize when to do this one and that one or do that one. But I think you guys will like it for sure.
Hell yeah. Well, like I said, I'm stoked to see what the future holds for you guys, and stoked to see where you guys are at the next time we do one of these and some more of the favorite moments you guys have had in the lifespan of Five Steps Back.
Yeah.
If anyone's looking for merch, music, or Five Steps Back in general, where can they find it?
So merch right now, we got a couple designs. We got actually have one design printed right now. Um, Sorry, that beer's got me all burpy. So you can only get merch right now at shows, um, until we maybe get a little bit. We'll put some stuff up there, and really, we got. I think we're on Bandcamp. I've never been a Bandcamp dude, so I mean, we're on Spotify and Apple Music, and we run the IG. So I think it's Five Steps Back Band on IG. So that's really where we do most of our stuff, interact and post all our stuff. So yeah,
Oh yeah. Well, depending on where you found this episode, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, or you watched the YouTube version, got to see CJ's lovely face like I did tonight. Make sure you check the hyperlinks down below. Go follow Five Steps Back on all the socials, and be ready for new music, new merch. Go to shows to get the merch, but new shows in general, and just be ready for everything else that they have up their sleeves for 2025. CJ, one last big thank you for taking the time out of your Sunday to sit down with me and talk about your band.
oh yeah, man. No, I appreciate you having us on here. I mean, this whole time, we're talking. I kind of forget we're on the podcast. I think we're just cutting it up. So this
Dude,
was a
hell yeah.
this was a cool vibe, and I appreciate it. And I'm excited to do another one for sure down the road.
Dude, for sure. You guys are welcome back anytime. Very stoked on everything, and yeah, this was a good time. Everyone, go listen to Five Sis Back, listen to Bad Taste, listen to End of My Rope, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode.
Oh yeah,
See ya.
thank you. Peace.